Hi, my name is Phil Cockert. I'm the president of Fraternal Order of Police Evergreen Lodge 1, located in Silverdale, Washington. We are the oldest Fraternal Order of Police lodge in the state of Washington. And we started this year doing filming on an outreach program. This is our show, Welcome to the Neighborhood. We like to invite all of you into our shows. We put them on once a quarter. We're moving up, going to be putting them on now about once a month. And our program is designed to help you get to know the police officers that work and live in your community, and also to help supply the community with different outreach programs that are available to the public if they so need them. Anyway, today we have the honor of having Captain Mjor of the Washington State Patrol. He's the district commander, District 8, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And with him has his public information officer, Chelsea Hodgson,
you're close.
Okay, I'm terrible with names, which those that have watched before know that. So anyway, we're going to get started. And we're going to start with the captain here. How many, I assume, how many districts are there in the State Patrol?
So the State Patrol is broken up into 8 districts throughout Washington. District 8, which I serve as the district commander, we have over 120 commissioned law enforcement and support personnel spread from all the way down to the Columbia River, down south in Nasell, all the way up to Forks, Jefferson County, and of course Mason and Kitsap County here in Bremerton. And our headquarters is Bremerton with satellite offices throughout the district.
So would I be correct in assuming that you have squads located in each district?
Yeah, it's probably a good term to use for this. So in Bremerton, I have 3 sergeants and 3 detachments, as we call them. And then in Mason County, we have 1 very large detachment there. Jefferson County and Clallam serve the whole Olympic Peninsula up there with 2 detachments. In Hoquiam, we have 2 detachments, and Nasell, we have 1 large detachment down south.
Okay, so the size of the detachment goes with the population and size of the area that it's in, is that?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, Phil. It's a model that we use. Government takes the calls for service that we have, the citizens that we serve, the census, and compiles how many officers that we need to adequately cover that area.
And you have a central dispatch for your district?
We do. Our communications office is located at our headquarters in Bremerton. Out of there, they talk to all the districts that we discuss, or all the detachments that we talked about. So from that one office, we talk all the way down the Columbia River and all the way up to Clallam County and Jefferson County. So.
I think you said that in your detachment here in Kitsap County, you have 3 sergeants?
We do, yeah.
Okay. Is that, and are you divided into 3 shifts, or?
We have 2 shifts that are working all the time, 24/7, covered by 2 sergeants. We have a 3rd sergeant, that is our operations sergeant, that Chelsea works in. Our operations sergeant, he's responsible for our motors units, our public information officer, our canine, drug handler and his issued canine, as well as our recruiter who goes around throughout our region trying to find the next trooper or communication officer or forensic scientist for us to be hired by the Washington State Patrol.
Okay. And that's getting more difficult all the time, I know, with recruitment. It used to be they were standing in line. You couldn't get them all in to take the test. There were so many that wanted to be police. And the sad reality of it is that where it used to be something that people wanted to do, I think the people had a the public backed them a lot better than they do now. And I know a lot of people that would like to be police officers that say you're making quick decisions and you get persecuted if it turns out wrong, and so they shy away from it. And I know it's hurting all the different departments throughout the country, really. Okay, when you're working in Kitsap County, out of your district, what different functions do you have available for response to?
Yeah, so just in Kitsap County alone, we have multiple different functions that we don't, people typically associate as to just stopping a vehicle on the highway. That might be what they associate our white cars with and our trooper wearing their hat. But the other functions within the agency and collateral duties that our trooper have range anywhere from a canine handler, as I discussed, and that could be either handling a dog that's equipped to sniff out narcotics, or bombs, guns, explosives. We also have officers that ride motorcycles for traffic law enforcement. We have detectives that investigate and assist our local agencies in homicides, collision reconstruction. And then we have other collateral duties like our special weapons and tactics team. That's actually an area that I just came from as the most recent SWAT commander, where we typically go anywhere from 30 to 40 missions throughout the state in any given year. And that ranges from just a barricaded suspect, maybe wanted for doing some harm to somebody, or a clandestine lab. As you remember back probably the old meth lab days, somebody making meth in the garage next door. So our team goes and processes those in support and collaboration with the local law enforcement agency, as well as our crime lab. We have forensic scientists come out and help us analyze the chemicals to make sure we do it safely and we can prosecute and have a good case for the prosecutor.
Okay, it sounds good. Do you still use hazmat units with the meth lab?
We do. We're just up in the moon suits, level A. So we have a closed circuit area on the back of the officer. They're in a big cocoon, a bubble to safely dismantle these. Here in Kitsap, and I'm sure some of the viewers have heard about the fentanyl overdoses and some of the fentanyl and hazards related to that. We've assisted our partners at Kitsap County Sheriff's Office and Paulsbo as of last year on 2 separate overdose homicides in our county and our cities. So we were there to able to help those detectives and document the body and help try to find a suspect and link them to the crime and get them put away so it won't hurt somebody else.
Yeah, it's good to have you around. Having worked with the sheriff's office, and we never had those back in my day. You know, and we used to just say, well, these clothes are trashed, change clothes and shower, and that was about it.
Well, I'm sure Chelsea could probably say the same thing, but I joined this agency because you're not stuck to any one area, and you're helping everybody. We discussed this morning. I just had coffee with Chief Horn up at Bainbridge Island and Chief Burchett, and I've got some great allied peers and agencies here with the Sheriff Gary Simpson, like we discussed before we went on camera, and we get to help out everybody, and it's this area right here, having been all around the state, is one of the best for partnerships and collaboration and really getting the job done together and not being in our own lane or siloed, this is mine, stay out, but not here.
I like hearing that because I've always been proud of the Kitsap County Sheriff's Office, and I think they do a great job with the community, and it's good to have, people like you and your organization that are working with us hand in hand.
Yeah.
The State Patrol does a lot of things, and a lot of things, good things they do are the small things too. You mentioned to me before we came in here about what I think of the State Patrol, and as far as what you do, and what comes to mind with me is the State Patrol. They're biggest and the best thing they do for the public is the simplest, and that's they're being seen on the roads and on the highways and sitting there. Because driving, as everyone knows, it's basically a subconscious effort. People that drive, they think about other things, you know, while they're driving. They're not paying attention to their driving like they should. But when they see you on the side of the road, they automatically get out of that subconscious mode and get back into a conscious mode. And I think that's where you save hundreds of thousands of lives every day, is by your presence on the road. More so than the enforcement, even just the fact that you're there wakes the people up and so forth. And I'm talking, you're supposed to be talking. So let's get back to you. What made you decide to become a trooper?
Well, so my dad was in the military. That's what brought me out to Kitsap County. He was a submariner. He retired right here. I graduated high school locally in Kitsap County. I went in the military myself, and my father-in-law was a 30-plus year veteran of Bremerton Police Department. He tried to get me to be a firefighter. I said, I don't want anything to do with that. So he said, well, if I can't convince you of that, you need to go be a state trooper. And I rode with one state trooper, and just fell in love with the ability to do a lot of different things throughout the day. You weren't just listening to the radio. And my perception at the time as a young adult was that you were just waiting for things to happen. And State Patrol, we just went out and really felt like we were trying to prevent a lot of stuff from happening, because this is a unique beat. You're able to stop a lot of cars, get into a lot of things, back up our peers at county and city, and so just fell in love with the agency. And I've been fortunate enough to do a lot in my 20-plus years. So it's been great. I've been a detective, SWAT member, sniper, negotiator. I've ran the local drug task force, WestNet, made up of all of our allied agencies here. I ran that for several years, working for the Sheriff's Department. And I got to do that as a trooper for the Washington State Patrol. So it's been a great career so far, and excited for the next 5 to 10 years ahead of me.
No, that's good. That's very good. So, what school did you go to?
I went to Central Kitsap.
Central Kitsap.
Yeah, in Silverdale.
My wife graduated from Central Kitsap. Speaking of military, my wife was my boss in the Air Force.
Not allowed to do that.
We were both enlisted. So, and actually, when we were both the same rank, but she ran the squadron when we got together, and that was, we just celebrated our 51st anniversary.
Oh, congrats. Nice.
So how did you were WestNet, and then did you leave Kitsap County, go somewhere else, and come back as captain?
No, well, I was a sergeant for the State Patrol. I was working in our narcotics section, and under our task force models around the state, we have sergeants in charge of a lot of these task forces, and I had the privilege to get selected for that position. When I left there, I went to be the assistant commander of the SWAT team, and ended up promoting from there to lieutenant, ultimately going back as the commander, and then coming back here as the district commander, which is an appointed job by the chief, Chief John Batiste. So it's a big honor to get called into his office and asked if you want to be in district commander, and this is where he selected me. So.
Oh, good. Well,
Yeah.
Congratulations. You said it happened a year ago, right? A little over a year ago?
My promotion to captain happened about 4 months ago.
Oh,
actually.
4 months
Yeah.
ago. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So is it, how challenging is it?
Well, it's when you've got fine people like Chelsea and our other troopers out there, they make my life really easy, and you've got good leadership. What's interesting though is you hear a little bit of my resume, but that's what fills a lot of the gaps, and helps you on a daily basis make good decisions to keep our people safe, keep our citizens safe, and so it's just a culmination of all that.
You know, from day one they teach you that you've been there before, makes it easier the next time when you get on something. So,
Right.
you know, mock scenes, all the training, it's so you have that experience, and that with your variety over the years of training, it probably comes in real handy.
Yeah, it does. But you know, we've got like I said, over 120 troopers out there. They're making a big difference. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, Chelsea, how long have you been with the State Patrol?
I'm just coming on my 6th year right now, actually. So.
And still like it as much as you did when you started?
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Everybody loves doing this gig when we're here because,
And you're the public information officer, correct?
correct. I've been
Okay.
doing that
You
for
want to
about a
explain
year.
what your job function is?
So my job is mainly I am the one that talks to the media if we have anything that we need to reach out to them for. I'm also usually at a lot of our community events. We just got done actually participating with Kitsap County and the other city agencies with the Special Olympics torch run. That was a big effort with everybody, and it went off pretty flawlessly. It was
Good.
tiring, but it was good. And we do stuff all across the county. When we had the big tornado last year, we're down there trying to get all the information out to folks, keep them safe. So that's where you'll see me.
Good. And so, do you work regular hours or you regular plus probably, huh?
Plus, I have a phone that's with me 24/7, so if they need me, they know how to find me.
You're always tethered, huh?
Yes.
Well, Chelsea's also one of our collision technical specialists. So,
Oh, okay.
and she could probably explain a little bit about that as a collateral duty and really trying to give some closure to the families in some tragedy.
So our collision techs, on the bigger collisions, we have serious injury, fatality, those things. We go out and we document everything. We take the measurements, and that's why the roads are closed a little longer with those scenes, because we want to, like Captain was saying, we want to give a finished product to give some closure to that family for what happened, and hopefully be able to answer a few of the questions that we can of what led to that event.
Good. Yeah, that's handy to have. And with the technology today, it's a lot more simpler than would us just tape measure and
It
draw.
is.
And our drawing not very good.
We actually just got done. All of the troopers in our district are deployed with UAVs, so we can take photos and use that as our mapping and measuring of the scene, which for what could take hours with a baseline, we can get done in a matter of minutes. So it gets the roads back open and all the other collisions that could happen and the backup of traffic, and it keeps folks safer that way by getting it done quickly.
Oh, good.
Yeah, one of our first deployments for our UAVs was, as probably most of the listeners know, is the Amtrak deployment down on I-5.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We just we finished up showing the fruits of having that type of technology. What would have taken NTSB thinks about 8 days to have finished the scene took our detectives and personnel like Chelsea a little over 4 hours with our drone or UAV technology to be able to fly the scene, map it, and do a full forensic study of what happened, how it happened, measure everything, and try to expedite getting I-5, one of our main thoroughfares back open, which really impacted District 8.
It did.
Because that main alternate route ran through Bremerton and down through Shelton and back onto the main line in I-5. So
We had a fatality where a car went through a tavern. This is way back when you guys just got your first triangulation laser stuff, and you guys came out and did the scene for us. And I'm sure it's far more sophisticated now than it was then, but it was quite impressive to see that work even then.
yeah, the end product that Chelsea produces, you're able to kind of go through there and kind of go through 3D on a screen. And
Yeah, you can even set where you can walk through your entire scene, and with the thing like the train incident, it's pretty impactful to be able to put yourself back in that scene and figure out what went.
Now, I don't know if the public realizes, but you guys are like, I know the sheriff's office same way, you're like permanent students, right? You're always in training. You have so many hours that you have to accomplish a year, and then you also have other qualifying hours that you take. I know when I was enrolled in Olympic College for my entire career, it seemed like, with different classes and so forth. So how do you adjust your time as far as work, schooling that you have to take, and having a life in between? I know it's real difficult, and it requires some, what do you call it, magical training to get everything to work. Just like if your kids are involved in a play or they're involved in this and that, and you know, so I don't think the average person understands the difficulty it is in a life adjustment. So do you have any light to shed on that?
Well, I'm going to defer to Chelsea after I say this part. With my current position, the decisions are a lot bigger. The impact is a lot bigger, but I have time on my side, so it allows me some more downtime, to make sure I have a good physical fitness regimen. I get time away and take that deep breath with my family. But Chelsea is running and gunning now out there, and she is the one doing a lot of the bulk of the work. So I will let her answer that.
Well, and like I had said before, I'm only just coming up on my 6th year, so you still are kind of a glutton for punishment when it comes to that stuff. You enjoy it so much, but it is a balance, and that is the beauty with our agency. It's very family focused, and I know that's reflected here even in our district under our current command. So, I mean, it's a check and balance. That's why you have sergeants and lieutenants that are keeping an eye out for their guys, and we have that here, and they make sure that, you know, we're getting what we need. And, you know, we have a wellness coordinator in our district that keeps us on what we need to do, and it's just a balance.
And what's the greatest satisfaction you have from your job?
Changing somebody's day for the better, honestly. I mean, the best things we can do are the simple things like pulling over and helping somebody with a disabled vehicle because they ran out of gas or they're lost or they need help, or bringing that calm to the chaos. And even what we think is a simple collision is that person's worst day. So being able to be that person to bridge that gap and make them feel like it's going to be okay, that's what you want to walk away with every day.
That's important. Can you add anything to that, Captain?
Well, I think, I think when you see, you get the thank you letters. That's what I get, and I get the privilege of sending that out to our troopers and really thanking them from the department because they represented us well. You know, and that goes from the collisions to the, you know, changing the tire to, you know, rescuing a child from exploitment or a human trafficking victim with one of our detectives. Those are all the things that our troopers do on a day in and day out basis. So getting to see, you know, maybe that child that says thank you because, you know, they didn't have a voice, or the parents after we get done telling them, you know, how the collision occurred, and they just get to say thank you for bringing closure. You know, it has an impact on the officers like it did on you, I'm sure, back, and the things I still think about today.
They'll stay with you a lifetime.
Absolutely.
I'd like to thank you both for coming. This is a challenge coin for our lodge.
Thank you.
And it was great having you. I hope you'll come back and we'll talk about more things. And thank you for your time, and thank you for being here. And to our people watching out there, these people are there for you. And when you see them, tell them thank you. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.